Is gross. Dude, this Switch, I gotta take this thing apart. She has freaking syrup stuck all in the power button, the L button. I gotta take this apart and like you can't even press the freaking buttons down, dude.
Well, I feel like that's a
No
great.
wonder she doesn't want to play Fortnite.
I feel like it's a great place to start right there, Drip. Well, you talking about your daughter's Switch that you have there with syrup in its grills.
Dude,
Because
it's so nasty.
we're here to talk about virtual game consoles that made us go grab our Switches because we haven't touched them in a while because there hasn't really been a need to do
Hey,
that.
you speak for yourself. I've been playing Metroid Remastered. I've been playing mine.
True. I mean, I sold mine, and this is the Abby's Switch with the pink Mo pads on it. We're here. Yeah, we're here to talk about the virtual game cards. As hopefully I'll remember the name of as we talk here. And I don't know. It's been a hot topic because the Switch got its version 20 update yesterday, and everyone's kind of been talking about it. And we're going to talk about it as well because I think Drip and I have some pretty strong feelings on it, and actually some, maybe as time's gone on a bit here, some mixed and confused feelings as well.
That's what I have. It's mixed and confused. There's like certain points of this, especially when I first saw it, I was like, this is dumb. I'm turning it off. I don't want anything to do with it. But I've also found out that you can't just turn it all the way off. It's made some permanent changes, and I know a lot of people have been covering the thing that's going to affect you.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you can't use the same game card or even license for a digital game to play together online like you used to be able to do. If you just switch the primary roles on the Switches, then everybody can play all the games. And that's how you've been doing it. But now you can still do that, right? You just can't do it at the same time. You can't use them together.
Right. So I have Mrs. Jeep's Switch here, and I did play around with this yesterday. Now, we don't play like online games together that often on different Switches. Like typically it's either split screen, like Mario Kart, you were usually doing split screen.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm streaming playing multiplayer games with her, she's usually sitting next to me here. So like very rarely do we have two different Switches going at the same time playing one digital game copy. But where it mostly affects me, and gladly it doesn't make a difference, is we do share digital games. We have a digital library that we share because the way we have it set up, simply put, my account buys all the games. The Switch that she plays on is my primary Switch in terms of like software, like how it identifies it. And that means that we don't gotta buy some games on her account, buy games on my account, and have this weird like confusion of like, oh, I can't play this game because. So we avoid all that just by purchasing all the games on one account, which happens to be mine, and it works great. And as far as the new system here with virtual game cards, I can download. I have no problem here just booting up one of my games on her account, and it just runs. It just runs right away. The point is that there's no issues here with that. You can still share your digital library with your partner if that's how you'd have it set up, like you and your partner or you and a kid. If you have it set up the way I do, there's really no change in terms of one person at a time sharing the same digital copy of the game. The change, like Drip said, is if you're trying to play at the same time.
Yes, that's the thing. That's the thing that you used to be able to do. Now it just kicks you both off from what I'm seeing. I'm actually trying to get mine back to the way I need it to be here. I've found a little bit of like a way to use all of this stuff because like my system's a little different. The way that you use it, it works with two Switches. But once you start getting into any more people, any more accounts, that's where it starts getting, it doesn't work quite as well. And that's my problem. I have mine plus two others, my kids. What I've figured out here is the way to do this for me is to use the virtual game cards, but not use them myself. I have it turned off, which kind of sucks because now it's going to check the internet even from my primary console, no matter what, which is fine, I guess. I can deal with that. But now I have all my games on my console. I can play them. But me letting them do the virtual game card thing, I have theirs both turned on, but my account is on both of these Switches. So they can basically use my library and pass the games back and forth from each other and be able to play on their own account and stuff now. So in that sense, it's good. Like that part of it, I think, is good. And it's going to be a lot nicer because we ran into the problem where it was like we'd be out and, you know, one of them would be in the backseat playing Odyssey and then want to switch games. And then they go to switch games and we're driving and we don't have any internet. So it wants to check the internet. They can't check the internet. So they're basically done. You're done with your Switch until you stop and, you know, turn on the hotspot, figure that out. Then you can keep going. But now with the virtual game cards, as long as if they do it before we leave, and that virtual cartridge is on their Switch, that's all they have to do. It won't check for the internet. It won't do anything. It's literally like putting a physical game in the system, which in my case, that part of it works better. But the fact that now even my primary Switch is checking the internet, like it used to not do that. Theirs would check to make sure because it wasn't the primary console, but mine's checking every single time now. So I don't know. I mean, it's give and take. You asked me yesterday, which I'm rethinking my answer I gave you. How often are you without an internet connection? Like realistically, not that often. Especially in a case where I don't have to have good internet. I just have to be able to connect to any network to just show that I own this game for a second. That's all you got to do. So, I mean, I guess it's not really that big of a deal, but
I also have I have included on my plan for no extra charge a hotspot that I mean, it's really not that big of a deal for me. I never had to think about it. For some reason,
my phone plan doesn't have one.
It's just kind of like, oh crap, like I forgot, I got to connect to internet. So it just takes about 5 minutes to set up the hotspot, just for it to ping for a literal second, and then turn it off. It's really inconvenient.
It's annoying. Yeah,
it's a 5 minute inconvenience. But I mean, like when I'm playing my Switch out in public, usually it's because I have some time to kill. So it's really not a big deal anyway. 5 minutes of inconvenience is really not a huge deal when I'm playing the Switch for like an hour out in public for whatever reason. But here's the question that I posed to you yesterday that sparked the idea for this video. Who is this for? And I'll adjust it because yesterday we literally couldn't come up with who is this for, and now we at least figured out that you have found a purpose with it in your own home, but it's not perfect. So like, who is this for perfectly? Like what Nintendo shaped this feature, and who are they shaping this feature for? Like in the perfect ideal world, and I'll answer it, and I'll start with an answer because I know the obvious one. The obvious one is exactly the way they have it set up for, which is people on your specific family plan who live within your same household or within, driving distance, let's say.
Okay, yeah.
That's who it's for. But let's be honest here, guys.
Well, not even this part of it. This part is basically they're doing this basically just so you can go between your own Switches. Is I think the actual point of this part.
Well, no.
Because
no.
They limit it to 2 Switches. That's the reason I'm not involved in this, is because they only let you do it with 2 people. 2 consoles.
I can tell you for a fact this was not made for people with multiple Switches in their house, because the old system was perfect for people with multiple systems in their house. You didn't need to worry. If you were one person with multiple Switches, as long as your account was signed into your Switch, all your digital games were always available on all of your Switches, no matter what. No finagling necessary. So no, this was not made for someone with multiple Switches. It does for you, multiple Switches with multiple people who play on Switches. Yeah, you can you in the same house. Yeah, you can change games back and forth as long as you have an online membership. Some people have multiple. Some people don't have the online membership, so it's not even for them. But obviously, like for me, this is terrible, because like my people on my family plan, me and Abby, yeah, but me and Abby don't need to change games back and forth. We have our system; it works great. The only thing Nintendo did was strip away from that currently working system. And it's not like we're abusing any system here. I don't think it's crazy to say that if I buy a digital game, I think my partner should be able to play it, and I don't have to purchase it twice. I don't think it's a crazy thing.
No,
absolutely not. Have for Nintendo to suggest that you need to buy it twice now. I think it's ridiculous. But like for me, my only other brother, the only other person on my family plan is my brother and my nephew, and they live 700, 800 miles away from me. So yeah, you
can't share games.
I can't share games with them because we got to be in the same proximity, and maybe we'll find that when I go down and see them this summer, and we'll exchange some games for a couple weeks. But like other than
is that with the game exchange thing too? You have to be like right there.
Yes, it uses the local network, like your local network around you. It's the same. You know how you play local multiplayer, like with multiple Switches. It's the same idea with this. You just connect. You have to be within proximity.
Lend to family group. Let me see.
Yeah, you got to be within proximity. It's for sure. So. Yeah, who is this for? I think this is one big, and this is what I was afraid of. Now, it's not like it's a complete scam. They're not just completely scamming everybody, making them buy multiple copies of the same game, evil Nintendo. It's not entirely like that, but it's definitely a little bit of that, because I think the problem this is trying to solve is not anything for the consumer. This is a problem solving for Nintendo. This is for Nintendo's best interest, because what people were doing, which was signing in on their account to their friend's Switch, and that means that their friend's Switch now has a full access to their friend's library, and vice versa. So, and Nintendo was like, "Oh, we're losing lots of money here because little Jimmy's is sharing their account with little Billy across the street, and little Billy shared his account with little Jimmy across the street, and now little Jimmy and little Billy have the same combined library and don't need to buy different games. They can just share each other's games." And that is what they're trying to solve. They're making it so you guys got to at least be on the same family plan and have to be in proximity to share these games with each other. And you lose your copy of the game, which can't be lost here, is that once you share that game with somebody with virtual game cards, you lose that game yourself. You can't play it.
Yeah, because I tried to put some of it, because that's the only way I could get my Switch to work without checking the internet. If I had the virtual game card loaded onto this had to be on this system. But if I put one on here and then I would go to play it, wouldn't check the internet, played, and then I would, I have these two, which are my kids, and then I would have, this one was the second one linked to mine, but then I go on this one, and then it asks, you have to unlink one. So I would unlink my Zelda Switch down there, and as soon as I did it, I could see it on the screen. The virtual game card just disappears and goes back into the little library of cards. It's basically your little game cartridge holder thing, a little case. Yeah, I mean, they're doing what you said. It's some of that for sure, and they're disguising it as trying to make this an easy thing to do. But I mean, now, like, you realize all we had to do with my old system, the way to do it, and yes, it did rely on the internet. All I had to do was teach my kids how to press the home button down and get a tiny little menu to pop up and press airplane mode. That's all you got to do. Just as long as you do that, everybody's cool. Everybody can play whatever they want. Now I have to be like, oh, let me take you into this menu and show you how to switch game cards with each other and make sure you're in the same room and you're doing the same thing and you're on the right menus and read these directions. Like, do you know how many times I'm going to be involved in this when I don't have to be?
Yep.
Like, being the one, like, okay, give it to me, I'll do it. And now I'm going to, now look, it's this. This is going to be a whole new thing for them to not be able to do. And it's more of like a barrier of them not even wanting to play because it's more of a hassle to get into a game.
I will say this, though, at least you have the small benefit in your house that now your kids can play on their own profiles. And
that is the one thing, yeah.
And they can have cloud saves enabled and everything, which is a feature you pay for that you don't get to have because
I get to have it.
But they don't. But you pay it for your kids too. You have you pay
their cloud saves, because because I didn't mention that. In the way we do it, they do have to play their games from my account on their system. But what I've done is, on their systems specifically, I've gone into the menu on my account, not theirs, on my account, and turned off cloud saves. So the only one that talks to the cloud is my system. This is the only one sending things in. These two keep it directly on their system, so they're not sending stuff to my cloud and messing up my saves. But yeah, now when they start new games, they're gonna be able to use their cloud saves, and if they get a new Switch, they'll have those. It won't be tied over to this, but you can still move these over, I'm pretty sure, if you have Switch to Switch. But the other problem I was talking to you about before we started doing this video is they've been playing on my account on their Switch for so long. They have these big giant save files, like from Pokemon, like 40 hours of Pokemon, full run-throughs of like Odyssey. Like, they got a bunch of stuff in Kirby's Dream Buffet that they play a lot. Like, that's on my account, though. So if they start playing on their account, it's going to be, they have to start over. Unless, which I haven't looked, I do need to look after we're done with this. If there's a way to copy that save file and move it over to another account, which I doubt,
I very doubt
that's way too deep in the woods. Nintendo's never going to let you do that. I mean, that's kind of like the whole thing they didn't want to do with Animal Crossing anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the way that this could be solved, it's not going to be. This is the way Nintendo does it. They're going to do it their way. But like, in theory, the way that this can be done where everybody's happy is weirdly make it even more complicated.
Yeah.
So like, but they weren't going to do that. I wish, because either you make it overly simple and people then are easily able to abuse the system, or you make it overly complicated where the system is set up to where people are just happy and they don't feel the need to buy multiple copies and steal money, quote unquote, from Nintendo like that. I don't know, man. I feel like this really screws over, because people were account sharing. This just really screws over a ton of people.
Oh yeah, the people who were doing playing multiplayer online a lot and stuff, doing it the way that you guys were doing it, like, it's terrible. Because that's the thing. We didn't even bring this up. They had it on their website to show you how to do that. That was a way they encouraged people to do it. They showed you how to do that. And now they've taken it off their site and taken it away and not said a word about it. Nintendo, they're frustrating, man. They're frustrating. It's like, you got this awesome hardware that I love, these awesome games, but you're dumb. You're tone deaf.
There has to be a different
to
way.
the consumer.
There has to be a different way. They have to understand.
Just turn that back on. They need to just turn that back on.
That too, but
that's it.
That doesn't solve your problem though. Like
it does.
There has to be a way where families don't have to buy more than one copy of the same game, and everyone in the house, even if there's 20 people in the house, Nintendo, which is like nobody, but the few people who are, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter how many people live in your house. Anybody who lives in your house should be able to play one copy of the game, even if it's multiplayer. Yeah. You shouldn't have to. And Nintendo and Nintendo knows this, because they added a new feature where you can play like Mario Kart. The new Mario Kart game. You can just share it with somebody.
Yeah, as long as you have a Switch 2. It's the new thing on the menu. That's another new thing on this menu. Hang on a second. The new thing is Game Share. That's in the middle here. It's the little thing right there. On this, if you have a Switch 2, you can kind of see it right there. If you have a Switch 2, let's say you're playing Mario Kart World on your Switch 2, you can send the game to other people to play with you at the same time. So I'm guessing it's a streaming thing. They're just streaming it from your device. But you can do it with like 3 other Switches, I think. You can play like 4 players on Mario Kart World locally, which is cool. Like, that's cool. And that's the thing that they're trying to say now, like, oh, no, we're giving it back to you in this way. But 1, you have to have a Switch 2 to do it. And 2, I mean, how good is this even going to be? It's streaming.
Curious.
Like, I know it's not streaming like over the internet. It's like right here, but I mean, how good is that actually going to be? There's going to be latency. It's not going to be, I mean, I don't know. We've seen Nintendo do cool stuff with that before. I mean, the Wii U gamepad is I don't know. That's a pretty interesting thing that they had going on there. This kind of gives me those vibes, at least a little bit. Yeah. Not like controller to console, but the fact that you could just stream the game to the controller, you know what I mean? Which worked well, as long as you didn't go, as we've said, if you go 5 feet away from the thing, it's turned off. I'm interested to see how this is going to work, because this is kind of that thing that you said, like the being able to cast. It's not casting to the TV though. It's literally using this as the console and casting to other Switches.
Right.
Which is, I mean, that's interesting. I don't know how well that's going to work. I don't know how, I mean, we'll see when it comes out, but that's the big thing. It's streaming. It's got to be. It's not like you're just downloading the game and playing the full game for, you know what I mean? And
well, that's how it used to be in the DS. That's how it was in the DS. You could download Mario Kart, like a free version of it, to play with your buddies, as long as there was one person who had it.
I don't know if that's...
Why couldn't we do that?
I don't know if that's the way they're going to do it, because it's a big file. We're not talking about a DS game here. We're talking about a Switch game. I
don't think it matters that much, because it's a big file, but that big file, that 24 gigabytes of Mario Kart World, is going to download on a decent connection. Going to download probably within 15, 20 minutes. Whereas back in the day,
but yeah, then you're waiting. Then instead of getting right into a game, instead of waiting.
Listen. Let me finish.
How much is a DS?
Let me finish.
Okay, you can finish
because the DS, even though the DS game was smaller, it was still
tiny.
It was, but like, do you remember how slow internet was back then, especially on those devices? Just your 3DS, which was way newer than those old DSs. How slow it was to download an eShop game. Took forever.
Yeah.
So it's going to take it's going to take the same or longer than it did before. Or excuse me, before was the same or longer than now. It's a lot bigger files, but internet is way faster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long it took to download whatever you needed to make that happen. But I can tell you this. I don't think people are going to want to wait. Oh, we're going to play Mario Kart. Let's wait 15, 20 minutes for it to download on my system. Like, people don't, they're gonna, never mind. They're not going to do that. I'm guessing it's streaming. I don't know for sure. I'm going to look into it a little bit.
I'm not
more.
suggesting it is streaming or downloading. I'm saying I think downloading would be better. I know okay, 15, 20 minutes, you got to wait, but what, hey, think about this too. It's not like you need to download the entire 25 gigabyte file. I'm sure if Nintendo plans
it's
it out,
open world.
If Nintendo plans it out correctly, then you could have like downloaded a certain thing. Like here, download this 5 gigabyte file that allows you to play this, these courses with your friends.
Well, I mean, that's tough to do with this game because it's open world, so you need the whole thing, or you'd be limited to like just doing a certain tiny thing. You couldn't go play the open world.
We're getting way off. We're getting way off topic.
Regardless, I don't know how that's done. I'm sure it's streaming, but that does not replace what they were doing, because this is only with select games too. Like, I don't know what games are going to be working with this and what aren't, but this is just with select games. But it's not a replacement. This is not a full replacement. And honestly, you said something a minute ago before we jumped in the weeds there, now that we're back out. You said I said they need to fix this problem, put it back in. But you said it wouldn't fix my problem. I think it might, because I think it's all caused by the same thing. I think it's the fact that even when I have the virtual game cards off, and this is the primary switch. So my issue is now, even though I'm the primary switch, when I go back to the old way, it's still checking the internet. I think if they make the primary switch not check the internet, it fixes all those problems. I think it's that one thing that's making it not work for you now too. I think if they turn that back on and that little system would go across the board and probably fix all these issues. I don't see the reason for it. And if anybody knows the reason for it, if you can explain it, put it in the comments, because I can't at this point.
Thanks for watching this extra video this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And we do this show live every Wednesday. If you didn't know that, you can check it out live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on this channel. So cool.
Yeah, I got one more thing to say. It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's gonna be May.
Happy May 1st, everybody.
Nintendo. Every single show.